You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate Weekly Bulletin. You're joined by three of the greats from the Diamantina Show, myself, Clancy Overell, editor-at-large Errol Parker, and lifestyle and weekend editor Effie Bateman. How are we all?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. It's certainly getting hot up here in the Samson Desert. We had a mob of Victorians come up in their caravans, and that's all that they could talk about. Their blood is too thin for this country, Clancy. It heats up too quickly and they start whining like an old lawnmower. I tell you what though, while it might not be every grey nomad that does this, but if the shoe fits, anything that's either free or not bolted to the fucking ground, they'll take with them. I caught one grey-haired bastard stealing the Gunner wrap out of a public toilet last week, and when I asked him to put it back, he told me to get fucked. Unbelievable. And on top of that, we had a sausage sizzle at the French Quarter Lions Club yesterday evening. It was an optional gold coin donation, and that was meant to benefit our residents who are doing it tough. But these Victorians, they must have caught wind and they came down and ate the lot. I mean, we saved some, but honestly, we had to stop our President Freddie from getting that length of dog chain he keeps in the back of his fair lane. He was seeing red. He was ready to lash those blow-ins. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a man get flogged half to death with a length of dog chain, but it's not very pretty. Especially
not a senior citizen. I imagine that'd be pretty horrifying.
No, it's much worse than getting COVID for a senior citizen. I mean, that type of, trauma to the face and head, scalp, that
back of the knees.
I mean, people can get over COVID in a number of days. I mean, but getting hit with a length of dog chain is something that takes much longer to get over.
Yeah, and it probably affects their self-esteem a lot too. Those old codgers really they struggle with their confidence after something like that. Anyway, how have you been, Effie?
Yeah, I'm good. Just visiting my mum and my sisters this weekend, having a nice wholesome one. Should be good.
Well, that's great. You didn't have to deal with any of that riffraff that Errol was talking about. Anyway, things have been pretty quiet for me. I keep hearing about this new COVID wave, but I prefer not to think about it. Either way, I'm staying in this weekend to, mind my P's and Q's and make sure that everything's in order for the holiday period. What's up first, Effie?
Well, up first, and somebody who's obviously not going to be staying in, I don't need alcohol to have fun, says mate who needs cocaine to have fun.
And this one sounds a lot like your sister, Ladasha.
Effie? Yeah, I would agree with
L-A.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Now, the world of journalism has gone into overdrive at the moment after the revelation that Old City District-based product designer Corey Kibble does not need alcohol to have fun.
An office worker for 10 years, it has been long known that Kibble doesn't need alcohol to have fun. A personal fact he shares as readily as if it's a fact-sharing segment of a Zoom chat no one wants to be on.
Yes, colleagues of Kibble state that work drinks are generally not complete until a light beer drinking Kibble announces loudly to the room he doesn't ever need alcohol to have fun because he does things like exercise in his spare time. What he fails to mention is the fact that he would spend close to $900 a week on horribly cut, creatine-infused, rat bait-infused, baby laxative-infused cocaine, which I believe he buys from people that are at least 3 degrees separated from the local bikies.
I'll tell you what, they should just fill every bag of that stuff with 1080. I mean, anyone who takes part in that depraved powder, I mean, they don't deserve to walk among us.
Well, that's very, I'd say very Duterte of you there, Errol, especially knowing, some of the hurdles your nephew Bryden's been having in front of him.
No, he was on the ice, mate.
Oh, that's completely different. That's a social issue. Now, what else have we got in the news here, Effie?
All right, up next, a local man paying $60 for non-alcoholic gin, unaware of a product called Cordial.
A new member of the non-alcoholic community has let a liquor store take his credit card for a ride, deciding to part with $60 for a bottle of non-alcoholic gin.
Yes, at approximately 3:42 this afternoon, local geography teacher Sam Lyer lit 60 of his hard-earned dollars on fire as he walked out of the Betoota Grove family cellars with a bottle of Compost & Co. Dry London Gin.
A new proponent of teetotalism, the advocate understands Mr. Lyers considered the purchase to be an investment into his newfound hobby of avoiding alcohol at social occasions.
We've certainly been bringing the baseball bats out for the non-drinkers this week, I've noticed.
Well, believe it or not, mate, the highest selling beer at Dan Murphy's is Carlton Zero.
Really?
Yep.
I got indigestion when I drank that. Well, is indigestion the same as heartburn? Because I had that, maybe.
Is it?
No, well, I do remember that I had to go and buy it when you were going through your CrossFit phase,
Yes.
and you wanted a low-carb beer, and then there was that afternoon in the Sidley season last year where me and you sat around and put away half a carton of the stuff each, and then, yeah, we kind of felt like we were okay to drive. And then
Has the gout gone away now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
the
good.
non-alcoholic beer helped with the gout, but you know what the thing is? I was actually looking for no carbs, and what I found was these no carb, no alcohol beers. If you have a hip flask, you can Irish them up, the non-alcoholic beer, keep the carbs off, while also some hard liquor in the mix. It's an interesting flavour, but it certainly does the job, if that's the job that you're looking to get done, which is what we were when we were drinking 14 allegedly alcohol-free beers and pissing like racehorses.
Up next with some local news, and a bloke on date 3 discreetly ducks into servo after making a poor judgment call with garlic-heavy dish.
Yes, a bloke who's found himself on a pivotal date number 3, which is the one where you usually get a root, has unfortunately made a poor judgment call with his meal choice, which now has the potential to impact how well the rest of the night goes, if you know what I'm saying.
Samson Dale is alleged to have organised a date at his favourite Chinese joint. Fuck, what a rookie. Which, admittedly, he'd taken a few dates to, when he made the faux pas, ordering what was arguably the most garlic-heavy dish on the menu.
Yep, it's a shocker. You can see why. I mean, he went and had to get a packet of chewy. But with a meal like that, I'm surprised you didn't get one of those hip flask
No, but see,
Listerines.
look, everyone knows that if you make that kind of bungle, you've got to go for the real bottom shelf, like the Fisherman's Friends or something, like the type of thing that turns your mouth from like the
You need
eastern.
to like scour a layer off to get rid of the garlic.
The Fisherman
Yeah.
Friends, like the type of mints that truckies chew on to stay awake. Those kind of mints.
Yep.
Nuclear. But I'll tell you what, I think he went with the extra spearmint. He did himself a favour there. And from all reports, he did get a leg over. So good on you, Samson. I actually made the fatal error once of having, well, I ordered a banquet, meat heavy, 5 types of meat at an Indian joint, date 3, samosas, roti as well. It must have been a
Jeez,
fusion food restaurant.
It must have been a Western Indian restaurant.
It was fusion
If
with the
there's
roti.
5 types of meat there.
Yeah, well, of course, the cow and the pork, I was surprised. But then, you know, you find yourself, you know, you go have an espresso at the end of the night and basically the floodgates are open. You're on the can for about an hour. So she was outside. Luckily, she was a smoker, so she was able to wait outside and play on her phone. Didn't get the bickies in the end, but I learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah. Well, for our next headline, I'm going to swing it to you, Clancy, because I feel like it needs a guttural, deep voice to do it properly.
To read this headline?
Yes.
Okay, the headline reads, "Ha fuck! The boys are rolling up to the formal on the back of a ute."
Yes, and some big news from Betoota Ponds this week. It can be confirmed that Braden and the boys have made a serious splash around that part of town.
Yes, the extremely popular Year 12 student at Betoota Ponds High and his mates have caused a major stir by rolling up to their formal in an unorthodox but epic ride.
While some of the more straight-edge kids in the year have pulled up in their pops' vintage cars or their uncle's hotted up Monaro, Braden and the lads decided to roll up on the back of his older brother's ute.
It's really good gear when you see that. They usually got a few stubbies going.
Yeah, well, in this picture we used, they all have glasses of white wine, which I guess is, which is a sign of the times.
Yes.
I mean that they've been saying for years that beer is on the nose, and all the kids these days are drinking
I could see those kids there. Braden, Tane, Tyrone.
a natural wine.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
interesting stuff.
That young fella on the back looks like he's had 2 bottles of sparkling Tasmanian white wine.
I know him. I know his family. What's it, Declan? Yes, he's got a head like a half-chewed minty, that bloke.
Yeah, well, his father's got a head like a sucked mango seed, so I guess
Yeah, like father, like son.
the mango doesn't fall far from the minty tree, mate.
Where are your lawyers now, Bruce? Anyway, what else have we got in the news? Bit of finance there?
Yes. RBA Governor Philip Lowe daydreams about having those Indian cops with his sticks here for Christmas to flog naughty shoppers spending frivolously in the economy.
The happy-go-lucky economist that runs the Reserve Bank of Australia has revealed that he had a daydream recently where naughty Christmas shoppers are beaten with sticks by burly Indian policemen who have a special hatred for people spending frivolously in our overheated economy.
Yes, after years and years of outright begging Australians to live outside their means in some sort of neo-pagan orgy of consumerism and financial autofellatio, RBA Governor Philip Lowe has asked people to do the complete opposite so the economy can cool down and put a downward pressure on inflation, which our national bagman Jim Chalmers says is public enemy number one.
Mr. Lowe, in his weekly phone call with the Advocate's editorial executive, said the daydream he had about shoppers getting flogged with a naughty stick is something he says has happened many times before. Well, Clancy, as a man who's been to India, have you been hit with the naughty stick?
Yes, I did, and I made the mistake of getting into trouble in the northern state of Punjab, where the military caste are the Punjabi men who are much larger than me. Much
big
larger,
Sikhs.
Big Sikhs, and they
Sikhs,
can
yeah.
fucking swing a stick. I got one in the back of the legs, as I might have Pavlovian Freudian slip earlier, mentioned that. We were talking about the boomers with the car chains, the dog chains. Dog chains hurt, but one of these, I don't even think they're bamboo. It's a certain type of timber that is native to the subcontinent. You get one of them at the back of the legs, it almost winds you, which is a disgusting, sickening response to that level of pain.
Well, as a teenager, when I was having to backpack through Spain under Franco, I got hauled off a train by the Guardia Civil that used to have sticks like that, but they used to put lead weights inside the stick. And I got flogged to within an inch of my young Catholic life. So yeah,
Was that
that's one thing.
when you came back and you had to get Wendell to dig a splinter out of your ass? Was that related to
the
that?
India trip?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's happened a few times, actually, in India. Yeah, I also got flogged down there in Goa, though. Have you ever done DMT?
Flogged by those.
Have you done DMT? Because it makes
I have,
you act,
but
I was acting
I did-
like a fucking clown on that shit.
I did make the mistake of doing it with some young Israeli men in Thailand.
The sleeper hold, eh?
They were quite antisocial in the end. It really wigged me out.
Anyway, the last story today, we don't need to read it. You can kind of
Just try to imagine it.
just try to imagine it. Do you want to read this last headline for us, Effie?
Yeah, so Barnaby Joyce reminded again that the fish in Parliament's fountain aren't there to eat his feet skin.
Yes, the unsinkable Barnaby Joyce has received yet another written warning from the Parliament House staff for putting his feet in the fountain and letting all the fish in there eat the dead skin off his feet.
Yes, under the Parliamentary Code of Conduct, the fish in the courtyard water fountain aren't allowed to be fed by anyone other than the Father of the House, and the Father of the House is currently the member for Kennedy, Bob Catter, who witnesses say caught Mr. Joyce with his feet in the fountain again and blew a fuse.
So I've heard that the way that Bob Catter likes to feed the fish in the Parliament House fountain is that he spends all morning going around the garden collecting skinks. He collects these tiny lizards in a pillowcase, and when he's got about a good handful, he walks in there and throws them into the fountain because he says fish enjoy the hunt. They do like to eat live animals themselves.
I wouldn't mind watching that. I reckon you could get a little bit of a book going there.
But these fish, they must be some of the most well-fed fish in Parliament House because everyone knows that Barnaby Joyce has, in the scheme of things, quite good-looking feet.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of frayed skin on the side of them. I do remember when it was actually the Chamber of Commerce in Tamworth banned Barnaby from wearing Birkenstocks down the main street purely because of the. I mean, it's got good-looking feet, but there's the cracked heels and the tinea, of course.
Well, I have heard on good authority that the way that Scott Morrison was able to get the Nationals in line before the next election was he actually sucked on one of Barnaby Joyce's toes.
Well, look, mate, he was doing his bit for the country. It took them 2 weeks of deliberation, and then they realised that climate change was real. And then they all got voted out anyway. So ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And I believe ScoMo was a real a testament to that kind of attitude of political selflessness.
Well, look, if it was going to save the country from impending doom, I would suck Barnaby Joyce's toes too.
All right, I think let's wrap it up.
Okay, Effie, if you say so. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy your weekends.
Have a good one.
See you later.